Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today I'll show you a presentation about Indonesia made by me, Sofie Rahman. I will tell you the general information and skim through the pages, but you can pause the video to read it all. General, what is Indonesia? Indonesia is an archipelago country located in Southeast Asia. Indonesia is a diverse country with over 700 languages and 1,300 ethnic groups. The motto is Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, which means unity in diversity or many but one. Indonesia has as many as 34 provinces and the city of Jakarta as the capital. Climate and geography. Is it hot in Indonesia? Is it cold? Most of Indonesia has a relatively mild tropical climate with little changes in temperature and length of daylight hours. Indonesia has two seasons, a dry season and a wet season. Unfortunately, Indonesia faces many tsunamis, floods, and earthquakes. It is also a site of many volcanoes. Flora and fauna. What plants and animals live in Indonesia? Indonesia is a home to one of the largest levels of biodiversity and is among one of the 17 megadiverse countries. The country also has the second most endemic species. The national flower is the jasmine. Here are the pictures of the animals and plants you can find in Indonesia, such as the rafflesia, the Komodo dragon, the titanarum, and the babi rusa. Flora and fauna too. What plants and animals live in Indonesia? The animal emblems of Indonesia includes the following. The national animal is the Komodo dragon. Animal of charm is the Asian arowana, and the rare animal and national bird is the Javan hawk eagle. Indonesia also has a National Love Flora and Fauna Day, being November 5th. Sadly, many plants and animals are vulnerable to deforestation, with 2 million hectares lost per year. Culture, cuisine. What do Indonesians eat and drink? Indonesian cuisine has been described as vibrant and full of flavor. Many of these cuisine are served with sauces such as sambal, peanut sauce, and soy sauce. Meals are often accompanied by rice or nasi or chips, kerupuk. The dishes are influenced from many different cultures. Popular dishes in Indonesia include rendang, satay, and soto. The most common drinks are tea, teh, and coffee. Here are photographs of food you can see in Indonesia. Nasi goreng, fried rice, satay, meat skewer, rendang, beef with sauce, soto, and bakso meatballs. Culture, architecture. What do Indonesian buildings look like? Indonesian architecture varies by ethnic group. The most prominent influences are Indian, but Chinese, Arabian, and European influences also play a part. Indonesia's history with many temples, traditional houses, and historic buildings, each with their own style and story. Culture, art. What does Indonesian art look like? With a long and rich history comes many different forms of art, from musical instruments to dances. Here are some art that you can see in Indonesia. One of them is wayang kulit, a theatrical performances in public shadows. Angklung, an instrument made of bamboo. Batik, a technique using wax resist dyeing. And legong, a Balinese dance with expressive gestures and complex footwork. History. How did Indonesia came to be? Indonesia has a long and complex history. It is believed that humans first inhabited Indonesia around 43,000 BC. The location of the archipelago encouraged trade, but has shaped Indonesia's history. Indonesia had many empires that rose and fell, one of them being the Hindu-Majapahit Empire, which rose in the late 13th century and is considered one of the most powerful empires of Indonesia and even Southeast Asia. History 2. How did Indonesia came to be? Shortly after the during 1511, the Portuguese arrived in Indonesia in search of spices. They introduced Christianity and their influences was most strongly felt in Maluku Islands, also known as the Spice Islands, and other parts of eastern Indonesia. The Dutch arrived during 1599. They established the Dutch East India Company, or VOC, in 1602 for efficiency and began colonizing Indonesia. History 3. How did Indonesia came to be? The Dutch was that country that controlled Indonesia the longest and had the most influence. However, various wars weakened Dutch control and only during the 18,000s did the VOC crack and fell apart. During World War II, the Japanese Empire drove out the Dutch and began colonizing Indonesia from 1942 to 1945. After Japan surrendered in the war, Indonesia became an independent country at the 17th of August 1945. The first president was Sukarno, the leader for Indonesia's struggle for independence. Here we can see a picture of President Sukarno, the flag of Majapahit, and the VOC flags. Conclusion: Overall, Indonesia is a beautiful country with pretty beaches and rainforests with breathtaking creatures and plants. Indonesia is a diverse country with different ethnic groups, art forms, and architecture, each with their own style and story. Indonesia is a strong country who fought years for independence from the Portuguese, French, Dutch, British, and Japanese. A wonderful and interesting country. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.